Have you ever looked around and realized that the people closest to you are the reason you're still stuck? Not because they're bad people, but because they've accepted a version of life you're desperately trying to escape. The hardest truth I ever learned is this: you can't grow with people who've decided to stop growing. And choosing to leave them behind might be the loneliest decision you'll ever make. This is the story of a man who loved his friends more than his dreams, until one humiliating moment forced him to choose. And the choice broke him before it saved him. Stay with me, because if you feel guilty about wanting more than the people around you, this story will set you free. In a city where everyone seemed to be climbing towards something, there lived a 27-year-old man named Alex. Alex worked a stable job at an insurance company. Good salary, benefits, security. The kind of job that makes parents proud and friends say, "You've got it made." But Alex didn't feel like he had it made. He felt like he was dying slowly. Alex had 4 friends he'd known for over a decade. They were his brothers, his family, the people who knew him before he learned to pretend. There was Marcus, Alex's best friend since high school. Loyal, funny, the kind of friend who'd help you move apartments at 3 a.m. But Marcus had given up on his dreams years ago. Now he worked retail, came home, played video games, and told himself he was content. There was Jordan, always complaining about his job, his girlfriend, the economy, the government. Everything was someone else's fault. Nothing was ever his responsibility. There was Kevin, who talked big but did nothing. "I'm going to start a business. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to get in shape." Year after year. Same promises, zero action. And there was Ryan, the life of the party, the one who made everyone laugh, but who spent money he didn't have trying to look successful while drowning in debt. Alex loved these guys. Really loved them. But every time he talked about his dreams, about starting his own consulting business, about taking risks, about wanting more from life, he could see it in their eyes. Not support. Discomfort. When Alex mentioned he was reading business books, "Bro, you trying to become one of those hustle culture weirdos?" When Alex said he wanted to save money to start a company, "Why? You've got a good job. That's all anyone can ask for these days." When Alex skipped Friday night drinks to work on a side project, "Man, you're changing. You used to be fun." And slowly, quietly, Alex learned to dream smaller. He stopped bringing up his goals, stopped talking about the books he read, stopped believing he could be different, because wanting more felt like betraying the people who loved him. Every Sunday night, lying in bed, Alex felt a crushing weight on his chest. He would think, "I'm 27. In 3 years, I'll be 30. In 10 years, I'll be 37. And if nothing changes, I'll still be here. Still safe, still comfortable, still dying inside." But the thought of losing his friends terrified him more than the thought of wasting his life. Then came Alex's 28th birthday. He told his friends about it weeks in advance, made plans, picked a restaurant, even offered to pay for dinner because he wanted them all together. The night arrived. Alex sat at the table he'd reserved for 6 people. He wore the new shirt he'd bought. He checked his phone every 2 minutes. Marcus texted, "Sorry, bro got stuck at work. We'll celebrate next week." Jordan, "Can't make it, man. Girlfriend's pissed at me." Kevin, "Yo, totally forgot. My bad." Ryan, "Read." No reply. Alex sat alone at that table for 40 minutes. The waiter kept asking if he was ready to order. Other tables glanced at him with pity. He could feel their thoughts. That guy got stood up. On his birthday, he ordered a drink, then another, then paid the bill and walked home in the rain. When he got to his apartment soaking wet, he stood in front of the mirror and saw someone he didn't recognize. A man who had made himself small to fit in with people who didn't even show up when it mattered. He whispered to his reflection, "They don't care. They never cared about my dreams because they gave up on their own." But here's what broke him. He realized he was angrier at himself than at them, because they were living exactly the lives they chose. They were honest about who they were. But Alex had been lying, pretending he was fine with mediocrity, pretending he didn't want more, pretending he belonged in a circle that had stopped moving. He grabbed his phone and opened a group chat from a business networking event he'd attended once, months ago, but left because he felt like an imposter. His finger hovered over the message box and he thought, if I send this, if I try to join this world, I'll lose my friends. I'll be alone. But if I don't, I'll lose myself. He took a breath and typed, hey everyone, I know I've been quiet, but I'm ready to show up. What's the next event? 3 days later, Alex walked into a co-working space for a future founders meetup. He'd never felt more out of place in his life. Everyone seemed smarter, more successful, more confident. They talked about revenue and strategy and growth. Alex had nothing to contribute. He almost left. And then a man in his 50s, sitting in the corner with a book, looked up and smiled. First time? He asked. Alex nodded. I can tell. You've got the look. What look? The look of someone who just realized their old life doesn't fit anymore, but their new life hasn't started yet. The man introduced himself as Mr. Richardson, a retired business owner who now mentored young entrepreneurs. Sit down, he said. You look like you need to hear something. Mr. Richardson pulled out a notebook and drew 5 circles around one center circle. See this? He pointed to the center. This is you. He pointed to the outer circles. These are the 5 people you spend the most time with. Then he drew arrows from each outer circle pointing toward the center. Every person in your circle is pulling you. Some pull you up, some pull you down, some pull you sideways, keeping you comfortable but not growing. He looked at Alex. Right now, young man, how many of your 5 are pulling you up? Alex thought about his friends. His throat tightened. None, he whispered. And how many are pulling you down? All of them. But they don't mean to. Intention doesn't matter, Mr. Richardson interrupted gently. Gravity doesn't ask permission. If you spend time with 5 people going down, you'll go down too. It's physics. It's mathematics. You become the average. He drew another diagram. 1 person climbing a mountain, 5 hands reaching up from below, trying to pull them back down. Here's what nobody tells you. When you start to climb, people who've accepted the ground will try to pull you back. Not because they hate you, but because your climbing reminds them that they stopped. So you have a decision. You can stay on the ground with people who love you but won't climb, or you can climb alone until you find people already climbing. Alex felt tears forming. But they're my friends. They've been there for me. Have they? Mr. Richardson asked softly. Or have they just been there? Being present isn't the same as supporting growth. Laughing together isn't the same as pushing each other forward. You can love people from a distance, Alex. But you can't grow with people who've chosen to stay still. I need to tell you something else. The next 6 months will be the loneliest of your life. You'll feel like you don't belong anywhere. Your old friends won't understand you. Your new circle won't fully trust you yet. You'll be in the wilderness. That's where growth lives, in the lonely middle, and most people turn back because they can't handle it. He leaned forward. Can you handle it? Mr. Richardson was right. The next 6 months were hell. Alex started attending weekly entrepreneur meetups. He felt like a fraud every single time. People talked about their businesses while Alex was still planning his first client pitch. He woke up at 5 a.m. to work on his side project before his day job. He was exhausted constantly. He saved money aggressively. No more Friday night bars. No more impulse purchases. It felt like punishment. The first month, his old friends kept inviting him to hang out. When he said no, they joked, "Oh, Mr. Entrepreneur is too good for us now." The second month, the invitations slowed down. The third month, they stopped completely. Marcus, his best friend since high school, sent one final text. "Bro, I don't know who you are anymore. You've changed and not in a good way. Let me know when you're ready to be yourself again." Alex stared at that message for an hour. He cried. He almost replied, "You're right. I'm sorry. Let's hang out Friday." But then he remembered, Marcus didn't show up to his birthday. None of them did. They loved the version of Alex who stayed small, who asked for nothing, who accepted mediocrity. But they didn't love the real Alex, the one who wanted more, who dreamed bigger, who refused to settle. He typed, "I love you, Marcus, but I can't be that person anymore. I hope someday you'll understand." And he pressed send. Weeks passed. Alex worked alone, ate alone, spent weekends in coffee shops while his old friends posted group photos he wasn't in anymore. It hurt more than he expected. Some nights he wanted to give up, to call Marcus and say, "You were right. I was being stupid." But then 3 months in, something shifted. A woman from the entrepreneur group, Sarah, who ran a successful marketing agency, reached out. "Hey Alex, I've noticed you showing up consistently. Most people quit after 2 weeks. Want to grab coffee? I'd love to hear what you're working on." That coffee turned into a collaboration, then a client referral, then a friendship. Slowly, Alex's new circle formed. Sarah introduced him to David, who was building a tech startup. David introduced him to Michelle, who'd quit her corporate job to pursue her passion. Michelle introduced him to others. These people didn't just hang out. They challenged each other, shared opportunities, held each other accountable. 6 months after his birthday, Alex landed his first consulting client. 8 months in, he was making more from his side business than his day job. 10 months in, he quit. His new friends celebrated with him, not at a bar, but at a co-working space, planning the next steps. That night, he saw Marcus's Instagram story. The same bar, the same guys, the same complaints about life. And Alex felt, not anger, not superiority, just clarity. They had chosen their path. He had chosen his. And for the first time in years, he was okay being alone rather than being small. 1 year after that lonely birthday, Alex ran into Marcus at a grocery store. The conversation was polite, surface level. Marcus asked, "So, you actually did it? Started your business?" Alex nodded. "Yeah." "You happy?" Alex paused. "I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be. It's lonely sometimes, but it's mine." Marcus looked down. "I think about what you said about wanting more. But it's scary, you know." "I know," Alex said softly. "That's why most people never start." They hugged, said they'd catch up soon. They both knew they wouldn't. "My friend, here's what I need you to understand. You are the average of your 5 closest people. Not because of some mystical force, but because humans are social mirrors. We adapt to our environment. We become who we surround ourselves with. If your 5 closest people are complainers, you will learn to complain. If your 5 closest people have given up on their dreams, you will give up on yours. If your 5 closest people are comfortable with mediocrity, you will accept mediocrity. Not because you're weak, but because belonging is a human need, and we will make ourselves small to keep belonging. Changing your circle is one of the hardest things you'll ever do because it feels like betrayal. It feels selfish. It feels wrong. You'll lose people you love. You'll be lonely. You'll doubt yourself. But here's the truth they don't tell you. The loneliness of growing is temporary. The regret of staying small is permanent. So look at your 5 closest people right now. Are they where you want to be in 5 years? Do they challenge you or comfort you? Do they celebrate your growth or resent your ambition? You don't have to abandon anyone, but you do have to be honest about who gets your time, your energy, your life. This week, do something uncomfortable. Spend time with someone who intimidates you, someone who's already where you want to be. Join one group where you're the least successful person in the room. Say no to one invitation that keeps you comfortable. And if you feel guilty, good. That guilt means you're breaking free from a circle that needs you to stay small. If this story touched something in you, share it with one person who's brave enough to hear it. Not everyone will understand, but the ones who do, they're your future circle. Comment below, what's one relationship you need to be honest about? Remember, you can love people from a distance, but you can only grow with people moving in the same direction. Your next level is lonely, but it's worth it. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe,